Democrats have spent the last decade, the last 10 years, screeching that non-citizen voting is a right-wing conspiracy. It's a myth. It's a fever dream cooked up by Donald Trump. Just one problem. A rather massive problem. The kind of problem that makes an entire decade of gaslighting collapse like a house of cards. A Democrat governor just got caught. Homeland Security is actively investigating, and President Trump has just pulled off what may indeed be the silver bullet that finally puts an end to Democrat election corruption once and for all. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another glorious day in the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. New Jersey Governor Mikie Sherrill stood in front of reporters yesterday and admitted what we've always known. She admitted that thousands of non-citizens were indeed registered to vote in her state.
In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway.
Well, of course it did. That's what it's there for. It's called automatic voter registration, and this is precisely one of the consequences of it, and she knows it. It's deliberate. It's baked into the cake. It gets worse. We now know that hundreds of those over 6,000 non-citizens indeed voted. They cast ballots. Now, as you heard, Governor Mikie blamed a, quote, software error at the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission. She says people were literally checking the boxes as I'm not a U.S. citizen, but the system somehow registered them anyway, registered them to vote for 3 years, by the way, under a Democrat administration, and the state Democrats have run for decades. And that software company is pushing back. Idemia, the software vendor Sherrill blamed, denies fault and says it merely transmits driver's license ID data through the DMV system. It's insisting it's the state's Division of Elections that bears ultimate responsibility for verifying voter eligibility. In other words, there was not a software error. People, government workers, bureaucrats put those non-citizens' names in the voter registration data. Don't blame the software. Needless to say, the company in New Jersey have since severed their 40-year partnership in the wake of this scandal. Now, you'll notice nowhere at any point in that pathetic admission did Governor Sherrill call for voter ID. She didn't call for voter ID. She didn't call for stricter citizenship checks. She didn't call for the passage of the SAVE Act. Nope. Instead, she turned around and attacked President Trump, saying that he's got zero credibility on the issue of election integrity. How's that for deflection? And deflection from someone who, while she was a representative, pushed the Russian collusion hoax. That's right. Mikie Sherrill repeatedly affirmed that Russia interfered in the 2016 election, which was by definition a hoax. In a 2019 subcommittee hearing she chaired on election security, she stated, and I quote, "The last two election cycles saw foreign interference in our election systems, and that we know the Russian intelligence service has already attacked our election infrastructure." She is a flipping freaking fraud. What a vile, hypocritical fraud. And that fraud, thankfully, is being called out by none other than the Department of Homeland Security. You may wonder why. She came out and publicly admitted that they have non-citizens on their voter rolls. It's because just days before that press conference, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin sent New Jersey a letter warning that a preliminary federal review found as many as 35,000 potential non-citizens on the state's voter rolls. That's more than 5 times what Sherrill admitted to. And New Jersey isn't alone. Mullin's letter went to 4 states total. California with a staggering 190,000 potential non-citizen registrations. Nevada with 15,000. Pennsylvania with 14,000. That's over 250,000 potential non-citizen registrations in just 4 states. And Sherrill's response to that, by the way, well, she's claiming that the DHS hasn't handed over the evidence for that larger number. Again, this coming from someone who spent years chasing after a phantom Russian election interference and who took 3 years to catch their own non-citizens voting. Make no mistake, they wouldn't have said a word if DHS hadn't sent them that letter. So who the hell is she to determine the legitimacy of the evidence? Now, obviously, the White House is taking a victory lap here, as they should. A spokesperson is coming out saying that this blows up over a decade of the Democrats gaslighting on this issue. The administration is now using this as fresh ammunition for the Save America Act, which would, of course, require states to verify citizenship through DHS's SAVE system before registering anyone for federal elections, something New Jersey, interestingly enough, has refused to do. Now, the key here is that this is not an isolated incident. This is a pattern. It's happening everywhere Democrats hold power. Again, the key example is freaking California. We just had a federal court settlement forcing the state to purge up to 1.5 million inactive registrations, and Judicial Watch has separately sued to remove hundreds of thousands more ineligible names from the voter rolls. But the state's own wacko liberal attorney general has thus far refused. California's AG is refusing to clean house when it comes to voter rolls. But it does look like it's the end of the rope for all of these election shenanigans. We've got a major circuit court decision that just green-lighted the U.S. Postal Service's ban on mail-in ballots for any state that doesn't turn over their voter records for confirmation of citizenship. We got President Trump himself taking a number of steps to secure the midterms. I mean, the Democrats are flailing here. But there is another area of corruption that goes way beyond elections, and this one, unfortunately, affects our health. Something is happening to American hearts. Nobody's talking about it. America is clotting, not all at once, not visibly, but quietly. In one peer-reviewed study, 99 out of 99 cardiac patients had microclots in their blood, every single patient. Yet standard cardiac screenings don't routinely look for them. People ask me all the time, Steve, if the system is this corrupt, if the food is garbage, if stress is through the roof, if we're constantly getting lied to, what do we actually do? And my answer is basically the same as Bobby Kennedy's answer. Train hard, eat real food, and stop waiting for someone else to take responsibility for your health. Nobody is coming to optimize your body or protect your cardiovascular system. That's on you, and that is where Black Forest's nattokinase comes in. Nattokinase has been popular for years among athletes and health-conscious people focused on circulation and cardiovascular wellness. Here's Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's it. Nattokinase supplementation can significantly reduce the size of existing arterial plaques and slow the progression of arteriosclerosis, particularly at higher doses. Nattokinase and arterial plaque reduction. Multiple clinical trials provide evidence that nattokinase, an enzyme derived from fermented Japanese food natto, has a positive effect on arteriosclerosis, hardening and narrowing of the arteries due to plaque buildup. Yeah, so folks, go take that stuff.
Now, the Black Forest formula goes way beyond just nattokinase, and it combines multiple ingredients designed to support overall wellness, recovery, and daily performance. I take it every day, and I absolutely love it. And right now, they're doing something they told me they're never going to do again. For 48 hours, you're going to get a buy one, get one free store-wide special. When this batch sells out, it sells out. The restock takes weeks, and the founding price is gone for good. So if you've been thinking about trying it, now's the time. Don't wait. Take charge of your health and click on that link below right now. If you can imagine, it actually gets even worse for the Democrats. Just days ago, a federal appeals court, the D.C. Circuit Court, granted the Trump administration a major win, allowing the U.S. Postal Service to move forward with a rule that lets it withhold delivery of mail-in ballots from states, i.e. Democrat states, that refuse to hand over their voter lists and use serialized ballot barcodes. Now think about that timing. Right as New Jersey gets caught red-handed hiding a non-citizen voting scandal, the federal government just got legal cover to start pressuring non-compliant states directly through the mail system. So if this executive order goes back to an EO from Trump, if it's finally green-lighted fully and completely by the Supreme Court, we will no longer be relying on hypocritical leftists like Mikie Sherrill or Gruesome Newsom to be the caretakers of their voter rolls. Those voter rolls will have to be turned over to federal officials, or they don't get any mail-in ballots. And it doesn't stop there. President Trump has also gone after the Election Assistance Commission, the federal agency that certifies voting machines and helps administer the mechanics of elections. So earlier this month, Trump fired the final 3 commissioners. There were, I think 2 were Democrats. The final one was a Republican. They were all leaving the EAC with 0 confirmed members for the first time in its history. Democrats, of course, are calling it an attack on democracy. But here's the thing they conveniently leave out. This move followed a Supreme Court ruling just days earlier that expanded presidential authority to remove leaders of independent agencies. Again, this is literally the managerial state, the 4th branch of government that for decades was off limits from the executive branch, from the presidential powers. The Supreme Court has said they're not just this unelected bureaucracy that gets to live there forever. No, the executive branch has the right to hire and fire them as it sees fit. So this isn't some rogue power grab. This is the president, a duly elected president, using the authority the Supreme Court itself just confirmed he has constitutionally. And now he is exercising that authority over that commission that oversees the mechanics of federal elections nationwide. So let's zoom out and name what we're actually looking at here. You got a Democrat governor admitting non-citizens voted in her own state after a decade of Democrats calling that impossible. You got DHS finding a number nearly 5 times higher than what she admitted to. You got 250,000 potential non-citizen registrations across blue states, with California's own attorney general blocking further cleanup. You got a federal court clearing the way for the United States Postal Service to pressure those very non-cooperative states by withholding mail-in ballots from them. And you got a president reshaping federal election oversight with the Supreme Court's blessing. Now, I've been saying for months that the wall of denial Democrats built around election integrity, a decade of that's a conspiracy theory, again, coming from the very same people who were harping about Russian collusion for 3 years, that wall was going to come crashing down. And it is coming down. Not because of some Trump witch hunt, but because their own governor stood at a podium and admitted it herself. She's on record, and the DHS is still counting and coming. Before you go, my new book, Civcosm, is available now. For 70 years, we've read the world through 3 maps: the liberal international order, the nation-state model, and secular materialism. All 3 are broken, which is why the headlines don't add up anymore. Civcosm lays out the coordinates that actually explain what's happening now: theopolitics, technopolitics, and astropolitics. Click the link below and order today.